Watershed Analysis. In the previous videos, we've learned how to determine the watershed, which is displayed here, and reclassify the streams to a vector layer. Now we're going to analyze this using the 3D Analyst. The 3D Analyst is a toolbar that you could have turned on. If you don't have it turned on, then you should go to Toolbars, well, first of all, Extensions, and making sure it's actually checked in the extension box, and then Customize Toolbar, and it's checked on the toolbar. And we're using the 3D Analyst, and move to the center of our page here. We're using 3D Analyst against our study DEM. So we want to make sure the study DEM, so we're actually analyzing against the extracted DEM that's within the red circle. Now we're going to be using the Interpolate Line, which is this tool, and we're going to be drawing diagonals or perpendiculars across our stream to see some stream cross sections. I use the tool to draw a stream cross section perpendicular at this point. And perhaps I'm going to draw one at perpendicular at this point. Now once I've drawn them, I'm able to display the data with the profile graph, and here I'm drawing the profile graph at that cross section. I can move it off to the side, and I'm going to select this cross section and do the profile graph of that cross section. You can see the profile graph at that cross section. Now I'm going to close these profile graphs, but you could include them into your layout if you wish. The next step is to calculate the area of this watershed. And to do that, we're going to have to convert from the raster to a vector. So we're going to use the ARC toolbox, and we're going to use the conversion tools. And the conversion tool we want is from raster to polygon. And we're going to input our watershed, and we're going to output that to the watershed polygon layer, and we're going to simplify the polygons. After that's completed, you'll see that it's a vector layer. We have the successful dialog box at the bottom. Next, we're going to open the attribute table, and we're going to measure the area. So the attribute table of this is shown. Okay, the attribute table is shown, and we're going to add a field, and we're going to call this field acres, and we're going to make that float, and we're going to say OK, and then we're going to right click on it, and we're going to use calculate geometry. We'll say yes to the outside edit sessions, and we're going to calculate that into acres. So we want to select US acres, and we'll select OK, and we'll have to say yes, outside edit session, and you'll see that it's approximately 63.7 acres, almost 64 acres. Now we'll close that. Now you may wish to add contour data to your background for ease of showing people what's happening in the landscape. So the first step we're going to do is make the watershed boundary hollow, and we're going to make the watershed some sort of color that we could see. So we'll get the watershed outline nice and clear. Perhaps we could make it a little bit darker, or a little bit bolder, so we'll make it a little more obvious on the landscape. Now we want to add contours, and we're going to add data, and we're within our geodatabase that we received from MinGeo, and we're going to go to the contour subdirectory, and we're going to pick up we're going to add the 2 meter contours, which is in the labeled contours. We're going to add that to our image, and we might very well want to clip this to our study area and also display the labels. In the case of the labels, we want to examine which is the label field, so we're going to open the file and examine where the label field is, and you'll see there's an index and an intermediate and the actual elevation, and so that it's probably best if we pick the index value for our display. So we're going to use label features. We're going to turn the labels on here, but we have to go to Properties Labels to select the particular field. So we're going to make sure they're labeled, and we're going to use that index elevation, and we apply OK, and you'll notice that when that's displayed that the index fields are the contours are labeled. You could make a layout for this and turn layers on with transparency, various levels of transparency. This concludes this video.